Okay, so AI chatbots,
Right.
they're everywhere these days, right?
Yeah.
Seems like everyone's talking about AI chatbots and how they're a total game changer for businesses.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic. Everyone's talking about it.
But here's the thing that
Yeah.
that I think everybody kind of struggles with.
Right.
It's like, okay, that sounds cool, but actually building one of these things
Mm.
and then managing it, that sounds like a full-time job in itself. And like, who has time for that? You,
Mm.
me, definitely not. So when we came across AskBobster and they have this whole "we'll do it all for you" approach,
Yeah.
we were intrigued.
Intrigued. That's a good word for it. The AI chatbot space in general is super exciting, but it's also really complex,
Hmm.
especially for businesses that don't have like a whole dedicated tech team. So this promise of a completely hands-off solution is very appealing.
Right. So we really wanted to unpack this whole Ask Bobster thing and see if they actually deliver on that promise.
Mm.
So we dug into their materials, watched their video presentations, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and one of the first things that jumped out at us was this emphasis on like personalized support. They have this success manager role that's assigned to every client.
Oh, interesting. So like a dedicated chatbot concierge. I
Exactly.
gotta say, that's a pretty interesting angle.
It is, and it makes sense when you think about it, because one of the biggest concerns I think that businesses have about outsourcing something like customer interaction is this potential loss of control.
Right, makes sense.
So having this dedicated point person at AskBobster could help to bridge that gap and make sure that the chatbot really feels like an extension of their team. Okay, so that's a good first impression, I think. But then they hit us with this whole "we take the time to really understand your needs" thing.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but I hear that and like part of me rolls my eyes a little because
Same.
it's like, doesn't every company say that?
Every company says that, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
In the world of AI chatbots, it's not just like a nice to have.
Right.
It's absolutely essential.
Yeah.
A generic one-size-fits-all chatbot can actually do more harm than good
Oh, absolutely.
because it just creates this clunky, impersonal experience for your customers.
Right. Like you're talking to a robot who clearly has no idea what you're even asking about.
Exactly, and that reflects poorly on your brand.
Totally.
Yeah. So Ask Bobster emphasizing this up front at least suggests that they understand the importance of tailoring the chatbot to the specific goals of the business.
Whether it's providing customer support, qualifying leads, or even just embodying a particular brand personality.
So they claim they analyze your business, your customer interactions, even your brand's tone of voice, to create a chatbot that actually reflects who you are as a company.
Precisely. And they take it a step further by saying they handle all the technical heavy lifting as well, like designing the chatbot's conversational flow, integrating it with your existing systems, your website, your CRM.
All that behind-the-scenes stuff that makes my head spin just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the part that always makes me hesitate with any new technology.
Right.
The implementation
Yeah.
can be such a headache.
Absolutely. And that's where AskBobster sees a key differentiator for their service. They're really positioning themselves as the solution for businesses that want these benefits of AI chatbots without having to deal with all the technical burden.
Okay, but how does that actually work in practice?
Right.
Do they have some sort of magic chatbot building wand?
Well, not quite a magic wand, but they do claim to have a streamlined process.
Okay, walk me through it. How does this whole thing come together?
Think of it kind of like a collaborative process. So you would provide them with information about your business, your goals,
Okay.
and like examples of how you typically communicate with your customers.
So like sample emails, customer service scripts, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Things like chat logs, customer reviews.
Got it.
Basically anything that gives them a feel for your brand's personality and like your customers' typical pain points.
Okay, so they're doing their homework. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But then how do they actually turn all that information into like a functioning chatbot?
Right. So that's where their technology comes in. They've developed this proprietary platform that uses AI and natural language processing to design like a conversational flow
Okay.
that feels natural and intuitive. And it's not like they're just cobbling together some generic template or something.
Right.
They really emphasize this custom design, building each chatbot from the ground up, based on the client's specific needs and data.
And see, this is where I always get nervous, right?
Mm.
Like the integration piece.
Sure.
Because I've got my website, I've got my CRM system, I've got my payment gateway, all these different platforms that need to talk to each other seamlessly.
Yeah.
And that's That's usually where things get messy, in my experience.
Yeah, you're not alone. Seamless integration is super important for
Yeah.
a positive customer experience. And AskBobster seems to get that. They've actually partnered with like several leading platforms, companies like Shopify, Salesforce, and Stripe,
Oh, cool.
to make sure there's smooth data flow between their chatbots and the tools that businesses are already using.
Okay, so that's reassuring. But even with like the best design, the best integration things can still go wrong, right?
Right, of course.
So what happens when like the chatbot hits a snag or I need to make a change? Am I just like stuck waiting for someone to get back to me?
That's a great question, and it brings us back to another key aspect of their service, which is ongoing support.
Okay.
So remember that success manager we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
That's your point person, like throughout this entire process.
Got it.
From the initial onboarding and design all the way through the launch and beyond.
So it's like having a dedicated chatbot expert on call at all times. Okay, I like the sound of that. No more like late night panics because my chatbot's gone rogue and is emailing everyone gibberish.
Right, and it's not just about like fixing problems after they arise.
Right.
AskBobster really emphasizes this proactive monitoring
Well,
and regular updates to make sure that your chatbot is staying ahead of the curve.
which is important because this is a constantly evolving space.
Exactly. AI is constantly evolving.
Right.
So a chatbot that's like cutting edge today might feel clunky and outdated in a year or two.
So how do they stay ahead of the game then?
Well, they have this whole team of AI specialists and engineers who are constantly working on improving their platform, adding new features.
Okay.
And because they're managing chatbots for all these different clients, they're able to identify trends and gather all these insights
Oh, that's true.
that help them to refine their approach.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a win-win situation.
How so?
Well, your chatbot benefits from their collective learning, and then they benefit from the data and feedback that you provide.
Okay, now that's interesting.
Right.
It's like having this whole team of AI experts in your corner without having to pay a fortune for it.
Right.
But I do have one concern, though. If everything's running smoothly, what's their incentive to keep improving?
Right.
Won't they just take my money and then focus on their newer clients?
That's a valid concern.
Mm.
And it speaks to the importance of really understanding their business model.
Right.
AskBobster's success is directly tied to the success of their clients' chatbots.
Interesting.
So the better your chatbot performs, the more likely you are to stay with their service and like recommend them to others.
So it's like their incentive is to keep making my chatbot better.
Yeah.
Because if I'm doing well, they're doing well.
Exactly. It's a symbiotic relationship there.
Okay, I like that.
And honestly, that's one of the things that really stood out to me as we were looking into AskBobster is this whole idea of like shared success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just about like, here's our product, see ya later. It's like, we're partnering with you.
It's a partnership. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I gotta say, they are making a pretty compelling case. This whole hands-off AI chatbot thing is starting to sound really tempting.
Yeah.
But like, let's be real for a second.
Sure.
This is still a big decision for any business to make.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know,
Totally.
it's not just about the technology itself either. It's
Yeah.
about understanding how a chatbot fits into your overall customer experience strategy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, what role do you actually want it to play?
Right, what are you trying to accomplish with this thing?
Exactly. What kind of interactions do you want it to
Yeah.
handle?
Right, it's not just like a magic bullet that you set and forget.
Yeah.
You still need like a whole strategy behind it.
You need a strategy 100%. And that's actually something that AskBobster really emphasizes on their website and in their materials as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They really encourage clients to think strategically about chatbot implementation.
So how do they tell people to do that?
Well, like they'll ask, what are the most common customer pain points that you could potentially address with a chatbot?
Oh, yeah.
Can you use the chatbot to kind of proactively offer support or guidance?
Oh, that's interesting.
Can you use it to gather data about your customers' needs and preferences?
Data. See, that's a whole other level, right? Because it's one thing to have a chatbot that's just like answering basic questions.
Right.
But if it can actually help me understand my customers better,
Yes.
that's huge.
Absolutely. And that's where things get really interesting with this. Imagine having access to data about what questions your customers are actually asking,
Okay.
what information they're looking for, what problems they're encountering, all in real time.
Okay, now you're blowing my mind a little bit. That kind of insight would be a game changer for any business.
It really would be. And it goes beyond just like reacting to customer inquiries, right?
Right.
Imagine a chatbot that can actually anticipate their needs
Okay.
based on their past behavior or browsing history.
Hold on. Now we're talking about a chatbot that's not just helpful, but like almost psychic.
Well, maybe not psychic, but definitely more intelligent and personalized.
Yep.
And that's what's so exciting about this technology.
It's the future.
It really is. It's constantly evolving, and the possibilities are pretty much limitless.
So as we wrap up here, what are your final thoughts on AskBobster?
You know, if you're a business owner and you're looking for a truly hands-off AI chatbot solution, I think they're definitely worth considering.
Yeah, they do seem to tick a lot of boxes.
They seem to have a really good understanding of the technology. They're clearly committed to personalized support, and their whole business model seems to be designed around their client's success.
Right.
But as with any major business decision, you've got to do your due diligence.
Of course, always.
Research their reputation, talk to some of their existing clients, and make sure that their approach really aligns with your needs and your goals. Solid advice. So who knows, maybe an AI chatbot is exactly what your business needs to reach that next level.
It's a possibility, for sure.
It's definitely something worth exploring. And on that note, we'll let you get back to it. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.